ravage. According to Gideon Bromberg, is an Israeli director at the Kano Peace Middle East, an organization that brings together Jordanian and Palestinian and Israeli environmentalists to protect their shared environmental heritage. These sinkholes are a direct result of inappropriate mismanagement of waste resources. That's what they're saying. 1,400 feet below sea level. The Dead Sea is its lowest point on land. First sinkhole was spotted in the 1980s, but by 1990 there were 40 to 15 of these. 14 and 15 years later, more breaking out. They either develop overnight, according to Bromberg, they can either develop overnight or over time. And they're unpredictable, very dangerous. The levels of the Atlantic Ocean 10 times that of the Dead Sea, evaporating at a rate of nearly 4 feet per year. 4 feet per year at a rate of 4 feet per year. You imagine that? That's a lot of water. Large salt pockets are left behind. The water recedes as groundwater dissolves. She explained that story. I kind of had a little too high. Checking my levels when I bring in voice clips, because sometimes I can't even understand it when it runs through, and I'm getting a large echo as well, so I don't know exactly why I'm getting that. Anyway, it goes on. The article goes on to say the portion of Route 90 is closed for repairs this week after parts of the road sank about 2 inches. Bromberg says the only way to halt this the opening of these chisels is to stabilize the Dead Sea. Dead Sea relies on fresh water from the Jordan River, but only 5% of that historic flow is currently flowing into the Dead Sea. Bromberg argues that 30% of the historic flow would be at least be a step toward the right direction. If anything is done, it's only a matter of time until someone dies. Wow. That's serious. That's serious, they're saying. So you got to wonder about that one. That's interesting. And I will be talking more about that. What do you think about that? Dead Sea. And I've heard this before about predictions of the future, about the Dead Sea evaporating. That has been a story that had been interesting. So let's talk about that. Another story that's interesting, of course, we've been talking about the eclipse. And I'm going to go right now, before I do a social media look through, I'm way overdue on a few things that I want to talk about, including Linda Moulton House Earth Files. We haven't gone to that, and I'm going to do that right now. Linda Moulton House Earth Files. And she always has interesting stories, and I'm sure she's going to come up with that Dead Sea story. She usually comes a little late, but she's talking. The solar eclipse is on here, and some strong, long rumbles shook houses on March 16th in North Carolina to Delaware, following a huge fish kill and dolphins stranded by the Outer Banks, also PA in Florida booms. So there's more booms going on. There's more booms going on, according to the Linda Moulton House Earth Files, March 19th, that was yesterday, in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Earth Files reporting that unusual, unexplained loud booms, metallic and trumpet sounds again. This is in North America now, in North Carolina. Other parts of the world in 2011. One of the puzzling facts is that very few places have any seismic activity recorded by the U.S. Geological Survey. But yet, the thousands of people throughout North America who have experienced these booms say that at least one side of their house shakes hard, rattling windows and floors, spooking dogs and cats and other family animals, any puzzle as some ear listeners think that booms are coming from below the ground, while others think it's coming from the sky above. So what do you think of that one? Linda Moulton House Earth Files article. And I'm sure next Thursday night on your local talk station, Coast to Coast AM is going to have Linda Moulton House on as a guest. And I'm sure she's going to talk about this. Because this is weird. These are booms. And they're going on. They say it's a lot of states are mentioned here, including Pennsylvania. They're saying something. Well, there was a recent earthquake in Virginia, which was an aftershock of the one that happened several years ago. A few years ago. I think it was about, 3 years ago? Something like that. And there's already aftershocks after that. So there's some things going on in the northeast, northeast, down through the Carolinas in the south. And these are booms, loud booms coming from somewhere, and it's been shaking up houses. What do you think of that one? Loud booms. What do you think of that one? So we'll talk about that. And I'm going to my Facebook page to see if there's any more. Janet Leach, thank you so much. She liked the eclipse video from what did I say that island was now? It's in near between Norway, between Norway and I gotta get that article back up here. Let's see if we can find it. Was it? Okay, I think it was this one. Gonna check it here. Let's see. I think it's this one, but I'm pretty sure. The ABC. Yeah, this is it here. This was in Norway. Between Norway, it's in the Mid-Atlantic. Between Norway, it's the Faroe Islands, which is in the Mid-Atlantic, halfway between Iceland and Norway. So thank you very much that Janet Leach, my best friend's wife, liked that video that I posted about the eclipse. And again, it has to do with judgment. Judgment upon the nations, the saying. And this is good. Now, it's not over. There's blood moons coming April 4th. And I'll be following that one for you. And on the next Gary Russell program, we'll preview that one for you. And I'll be talking about that and posting on my Facebook and Twitter pages for you, so that you have a chance to check that out. Let's see. Let's go on now. We're talking about that. Since we're on the topic of eclipse, last night on Coast to Coast AM, he had a guy named Mark Blitz, who is from the El Shaddai Ministries, and he's taking issue with John Hagee and John Hagee's predictions of the significance behind the so-called this blood moon, the tetras. He's taking issue with this. Reported about the solar storm. He is taking issue with it. He was on Coast to Coast the other night. Now, this is a posting from our pastor's story. And on the last 7 days this morning, I'm going to get that here real quickly, from the last 7 days this morning, and I'm going to go to part 3 of that segment. My dog is barking at a ghost that I do not see. He's barking at something that I do not see, and I don't know why, but there we go. that piece, it would be part 3, which, part 3. I need to go into my upload to find it. Let's see, I'm going to go here. Let's see, part 3, I think I just took off. Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll play that for you when I find it, and I'll put it on. But there is that story, and according to that story, again, John Hagee stating his meaning behind the Tetris and the blood moon.
The thing that compelled me to write The Four Blood Moons was when I discovered the scientific fact NASA was putting out, that it happened in 1492, that it happened in 1948, that it happened in 1967, and was going to happen in 2015.
And that's his prediction. Now, according to this article, which I'm going to pull up here in a minute, says that he's wrong on the dates, and that it was 1493. According to Hagee, he has dates wrong. According to the article, 1493 instead of 1492. According to these dates now, can't find the date. I can't find it now, but I'm going to look that up again, because this is the article that I had up earlier that I was following with from the last 7 days. This piece. The article, and I'm going to go in and open up another piece here. I'm not sure if this is the religious fundamentalism. Okay, it's not the one I wanted. Okay, anyway, he's conflicted with what John Hagee said. This is a guy from El Shaddai Ministries. He was on Coast to Coast last night talking about this. And on a future edition of Way Out There, which I'll have here soon between our next month when we get back to do another Way Out There, I'll be playing that segment. I'll go through and play that. We'll talk about it. And I'm going to see what I can do about taking phone calls on this show because I'm getting hits. While I'm on the air, I'm going to go to my Facebook page real shortly here. But I'm going to continue doing my scroll through social media. And we're coming up to the end of this segment. And so when we come to the end of the segment, we're going into my final part of the show for today. And I'm going to go in this final part and maybe even add an extra part. But I'm going to try for this as being the final part. I'm going to go to an extra part, and we'll continue talking about this. What do you think about this debate that is going on between Hagee and the El Shaddai Ministries? And we'll talk about that in detail. So coming up on Way Out There here on GJRB, and the half hour always seems to go fast on here. And for some apparent reason, it just happens. And this is Way Out There on GJRB. I'm Gary J. Russin. We're going to take a program break again as we wait another 15 minutes before we head on out and wrap up this show for today. And I'll be returning for our last segment of Way Out There, and we're going to go ahead and continue talking about this piece. And I'm also going to talk about what's coming up on Coast to Coast this week. As I had mentioned, I'm going to talk about, like I said, Linda Moulton Howe coming back on next week. And she's going to be talking about those booms that we mentioned earlier, I'm sure. We'll talk about that. And a whole lot more coming up. We're going to continue with Way Out There as we wrap up this segment here on GJRB Online.